The room hums with anticipation, a low buzz of voices and the clink of champagne flutes. I stand at the edge of the stage, my heel sinking slightly into the plush carpet of Holden Dynamics Seattle headquarters. My heart doesn't race. It thuds steady and deliberate, like a war drum before the charge. 3 months of sleepless nights, hoarse-voiced pitches, and contracts dissected until my vision blurred have led to this moment. I've just closed a $2,300,000,000 0 cents deal, the kind that carves your name into the tech world's history books. The projection screen behind me glows with the words, "A new era begins." My initials, CH, are etched in the corner of every slide. This is my triumph, earned through grit and genius, not my last name. I adjust my charcoal blazer, the one I wore when I outmaneuvered a rival firm's CEO in a boardroom standoff last year. The fabric feels like armor, crisp and unyielding. My tablet rests in my hand, its screen dark but alive with potential, a weapon I built myself, coded line by line in the dead of night. The crowd, executives, investors, press from New York to London, watches me, their faces a mix of admiration and calculation. They know Clara Holden isn't here because of Daddy's money. I'm here because I outworked everyone else in the room. Then the glass doors swing open, 20 minutes late. My father, Victor Holden, strides in, his silver hair catching the light like a crown. He's 68, still commanding, the kind of man who could sell sand in a desert. His arm is looped through Vanessa's, my sister, who looks like she stepped out of a Vogue shoot. Blonde hair swept into a flawless chignon, ivory suit tailored to perfection, red stilettos clicking like a metronome. The room shifts, cameras pivot, and I feel the air change like a storm rolling in over Puget Sound. "Sorry for the delay," Victor says, his voice smooth as bourbon tapping the podium's microphone. "Seattle traffic's a beast, but we're here for a historic moment." He smiles, the kind that disarms and dominates. I grip the tablet tighter. Historic moment? This wasn't scripted. My speech is ready, my notes memorized, every word crafted to cement my place as the deal's architect. Victor turns slightly, his eyes skimming past me like I'm part of the furniture. "This $2,300,000,000 0 cents deal," he says, "wouldn't have happened without the vision, the brilliance, the heart of one woman." My pulse spikes, not from nerves, but from pride. This is it, my moment. Let's give a round of applause to my daughter Vanessa Holden, the future of Holden Dynamics. The words hit like a sucker punch. Applause starts, hesitant at first, then builds into a polite roar. A board member drops his pen, another glances at me, brow furrowed. My initials still glow on the screen behind Vanessa, my signature on every contract folder stacked on the table, but Victor's hand is on her shoulder, guiding her to the podium like she's the prodigy, the star. He chuckles, patting my arm as he passes, his touch light but dismissive. And of course, none of this would have been possible without her loyal assistant, Clara. Assistant. The word lands like a blade. 40 pairs of eyes, clients from Singapore, investors from Silicon Valley, my own team who watched me bleed for this deal, turned to me. The room goes quiet, not the respectful kind, but the kind that suffocates. Vanessa steps forward, her smile radiant, taking the microphone like it's her birthright. "Thank you, Daddy," she says, her voice a practiced lilt. "This has been such a journey, and I'm honored to lead the next chapter." She mispronounces the lead client's name. Chen becomes Chan. She calls an executive James when his name is Jonathan. She tries to quote the contract's revenue projections and stumbles, her numbers off by millions. The room tolerates her, but it's a brittle tolerance, the kind that masks pity. I sit slowly, my legs moving on autopilot, my face a mask of calm. Inside, I'm swallowing glass, each shard sharp and deliberate. My tablet rests on my lap, its screen flickering to life under the table. One document is already open. Protocol 7.1, contingency lockdown, my code, my failsafe, my insurance. I wrote it 2 years ago, back when I rebuilt our internal security system from scratch. They called me paranoid, said no one would ever need a clause that could freeze the company's operations with a single command. But I knew better. I always have. The protocol, buried in a routine update Victor signed without reading, waits for my fingerprint and a passcode only I know. It can suspend all external access, lock communications, and reroute contract ownership to a private entity, Cascade Ventures, a shell I control. One tap, and I can make their empire vanish. I glance at Victor, his smug grin as he watches Vanessa fumble. I look at her fingers trembling around the microphone, her jaw tight when she catches a director checking his phone. They think they've erased me, rewritten my story to make her the hero. My finger hovers over the screen. The applause thins, a hollow sound. They called me her shadow, I think. Let's see what happens when the light goes out. I tap the screen. The change is subtle at first. The slideshow behind Vanessa freezes mid-transition, the word innovation cut in half. The screen pulses, once, twice, then goes black. A beat passes, then chaos erupts. Every monitor in the room, press panels, client displays, the digital wall showcasing our brand, collapses into static. A red banner screams across them. System breach detected, access denied. A sharp, robotic tone blares from the side projector, slicing through Vanessa's stuttering explanation. I'm sure our tech team will fix this in a moment, she says, her voice cracking on moment. Her eyes dart to me, wide and pleading, like a kid lost in a school play, executives whisper. A client from Tokyo leans forward, asking if this is a stunt. Another mutters about cybersecurity. The contract portal locks with a high-pitched beep, and tablets across the table flash. Signatory breach detected. And stay seated, my face neutral, my hands folding the tablet closed with deliberate calm. Vanessa reaches for the microphone, but it shrieks with feedback and dies. She stares at the podium like it's betrayed her. Victor's footsteps echo as he storms down the aisle, his face flushed. What the hell is going on? He snaps. No one answers. All eyes are on me. I stand, smooth my blazer, and nod to the room. Thank you for attending, I say, my voice steady, cutting through the buzz of failing electronics. This session is postponed until further notice. Victor's voice slices back. Fix it, Clara, now. I meet his glare unblinking. You'll need someone higher than the assistant for that. I walk out, my heels clicking against the marble floor, past stunned faces and hushed murmurs. Someone whispers behind me. Did she just tank the deal? No one replies. They part from me, like a tide retreating before a tsunami. The server wing is colder, quieter, a glass-walled fortress on the 3rd floor. Sarah Lynn, our compliance officer, looks up as I enter. Her expression is neutral, but her eyes are sharp. We've seen this code before, she says, no accusation in her voice. You tested it 18 months ago. I remember. I nod. Internal Clause 8.3, contingent lockdown on leadership misrepresentation, signed and ratified. Sarah taps her keyboard, pulling up the audit logs. The file is small, a single line of code with the weight of a guillotine. Victor signed it, buried in a 400-page infrastructure update, too busy counting profits to read the fine print. It's airtight, rewriting legal ownership to Cascade Ventures. My name is the only one attached. It's legal, Sarah says, her voice low. Fully binding. I know. From the glass wall, I see Vanessa pacing in the hallway, her phone pressed to her ear, her voice shrill. Try the backup server, call IT, do it again. She turns, catches me watching, and freezes. Her face shifts, confusion, then recognition, then something like fear. It lasts a second before she looks away. Victor appears, flanked by 2 legal advisors, his voice tight but controlled. It's an internal error. We'll resolve it. I turn to Sarah. Full lockdown is active? She nods. Not a single byte moves without your key, Clara. This is surgical. I don't smile. I don't feel joy. Just clarity. I didn't do this to burn it down, I say. I did it to show who built it. As I leave the server room, my heels echo in the empty corridor. Employees freeze as I pass, their whispers trailing me like smoke. Victor's empire, my empire, stands on ground I quietly own, but the victory feels hollow, like biting into an apple and finding it rotten. I don't go home. Instead, I book a suite at a downtown hotel, the kind with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Elliott Bay. The city lights flicker, but they don't warm me. They just remind me of everything I've fought for, everything they tried to steal. By 6:30 a.m., I'm in the office parking lot, not in my usual spot, but farther out, where the dawn hasn't touched the asphalt. I'm early, planning to audit the damage and draft a memo before the board arrives. But as I step out of my car, a black SUV lingers at the lot's edge, its engine idling. The windows are tinted, too dark to see inside. My pulse quickens, but I keep walking, my keys gripped like a weapon. The SUV doesn't move, but I feel its weight, like eyes boring into my back. I reach the lobby, the glass doors hissing shut behind me. The security guard nods, but his eyes flick to the monitors behind him. One screen shows the parking lot, the SUV still there. Everything okay, Miss Holden? He asks. Fine, I lie, my voice steady, but my hand tightens on my tablet. Something's off. I take the elevator to the 3rd floor, the server wing. The corridor is silent, the air heavy with the hum of cooling fans. I swipe my badge and the glass door unlocks with a soft click. Inside, the control room is dim, the monitors glowing with system diagnostics. Sarah isn't here yet. I sit at the main terminal, logging in with my credentials. The lockdown is still active, every system frozen under my key, but as I pull up the access logs, a red alert flashes, unauthorized access attempt 3:14 a.m. My stomach drops. Someone tried to break my protocol in the middle of the night. The logs show a brute force attack, sophisticated, not some amateur hack. I trace the IP. It's internal, from a terminal in the executive wing. My wing. My office. I stand, my chair scraping the floor. The room feels smaller, the glass walls closing in. I grab my tablet and head to my office, my footsteps quickening. The executive wing is dark, the overhead lights off, casting long shadows across the carpet. My office door is ajar, just a crack. I never leave it open. I push it slowly, my breath shallow. The room looks untouched. Desk tidy, bookshelves neat, the Seattle skyline framed by the window. But something's wrong. I step to my desk, my eyes scanning every inch. Then I see it. A faint red dot blinking under the edge of my monitor. A camera. Tiny, professional, the kind used for corporate espionage. My blood runs cold. Someone's been watching me, listening. I kneel, my fingers brushing the device. It's warm, active. I don't touch it. Instead, I back away, my mind racing. Who planted it? Victor? Vanessa? Someone else? And what did they see? I pull up my tablet, accessing the server logs again. Another alert pings. Physical access detected. Data center 4:22 a.m. The data center is 2 floors below where our core servers hum. If someone tampered with the hardware, they could bypass my protocol entirely. I grab my badge and head for the stairs, my heels clicking too loudly in the empty stairwell. The data center is a fortress, climate-controlled, badge-locked, monitored 24/7. I swipe in, the door hissing open. The air is frigid, the hum of servers deafening. Rows of black racks stretch into the gloom, their lights blinking like a digital heartbeat. I move to the main rack, where my protocol lives. The panel is secure, but as I trace the cables, my fingers graze a loose connection, a network switch. Unplugged just enough to disrupt the signal. Not an accident. Sabotage. I resecure the cable, my hand steady despite the adrenaline. But as I step back, a shadow shifts at the end of the row, a figure barely visible in the dim light. "Who's there?" I call, my voice sharp. No answer. The figure moves, fast, toward the exit. I sprint after them, my heels slipping on the polished floor. The door slams shut before I reach it, the lock clicking into place. I'm alone, trapped in the data center, my badge useless against the override. The temperature drops, the cooling system kicking into overdrive. My breath fogs in the air. I pull out my tablet, but the signal is dead, jammed. The servers hum louder, almost mocking. I'm not just locked in. Panic claws at me, but I shove it down. I built this system. I know its weaknesses. I move to the secondary panel, hidden behind a rack. My fingers fly over the keypad, entering a manual override I coded as a backup. The lock disengages with a soft beep, and the door hisses open. I stumble into the corridor, gasping, my skin prickling with cold. The hallway is empty, the figure gone. But the SUV is still in my mind, the camera's red dot burning behind my eyes. This isn't just about the deal anymore. Someone's playing a deeper game, and I'm the target. I head back to the server wing, my resolve hardening. Sarah arrives as I enter, her face tightening when she sees me. "Clara, you look like hell. What happened?" "Someone's trying to break my protocol," I say, my voice low, "and they're not stopping at code." Her eyes widen, but she nods, pulling up the logs. "We'll trace it. But Clara? This is bigger than a family feud. Be careful." I don't answer. I don't need to. The game has changed, and I'm not playing defense anymore. I open my tablet. The lockdown still active, my key the only way out. But as I scan the logs, a new alert flashes. Physical breach. Vanessa Holden's office. 6:45 IM. My sister. I'm on my feet before I can think, heading for the executive wing. Vanessa's office is at the end of the hall, her nameplate gleaming under the fluorescent lights. The door is open, the room dark. I step inside, my hand hovering over the light switch. Then I see her. Vanessa is slumped at her desk, her head on her arms, a bottle of pills spilled across the blotter. Her skin is pale, her breathing shallow. I rush to her, my fingers finding her pulse, weak but there. "Vanessa!" I shake her, my voice cracking. She doesn't move. I grab my phone, dialing 911. "I need an ambulance at Holden Dynamics, 4th Avenue, overdose, female, late 20s. The operator's voice is calm, but mine isn't. I stay with Vanessa, her wrist limp in my hand, until the paramedics arrive. They move fast, lifting her onto a stretcher, an oxygen mask over her face. "Are you family?" one asks. "Yes," I say, my voice flat. They don't ask more. As they wheel her out, I stand frozen, the pills glinting under the desk lamp, Xanax, her name on the label. Stress, pressure, or something else? I don't know, but I know this isn't a coincidence. The hack, the camera, the sabotage, now this. Someone's pulling strings, and Vanessa's just another pawn. I follow the ambulance to the hospital, my tablet clutched like a lifeline. In the waiting room, the antiseptic smell burns my nose. A nurse hands me a clipboard. "You're her emergency contact," she says. I nod, barely glancing at the forms. A doctor approaches, his face grim. "She's stable, but we're keeping her for observation. Blood pressure was critical. Any history of stress issues?" I pause, the weight of the question sinking in. "She's been under unusual pressure," I say, my arms crossing. He nods, like it's nothing new. "Happens more than you'd think, in high-stakes families." They let me into her room. Vanessa lies there, an IV in her arm, her face pale against the navy blazer she's still wearing from yesterday. Her hand twitches as I approach. Her eyes flutter open, her voice a whisper. "I wasn't ready for any of it." I stand by the window, not her bed, watching her breathe. She looks small, fragile, like the girl who once sabotaged my debate speech to win the school trophy. The girl who pushed me aside at every turn, egged on by Victor's favoritism. But here, hooked to a drip, she's not my rival. She's just broken. I step out, the hallway's vending machine hum, filling the silence. My phone buzzes, an alert from Sarah. Hack traced to external IP, not internal. Watch your back. I lean against the wall, my mind spinning. An outside player, a rival firm, or someone closer, hiding in plain sight. I return to the office, the SUV gone, but its shadow lingering. The board meeting looms, my grandfather's charter claws my ace. But the camera, the sabotage, the hack, they're warnings. Someone wants me out, and they're not afraid to play dirty. I open my tablet, the lockdown still holding, my key the only truth left. As I prepare for the fight ahead, one thought burns. They tried to erase me, but I'm not invisible. Not anymore. The hospital's fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting a sterile glow across the waiting room. I sit in a hard plastic chair, my tablet balanced on my knees, its screen a lifeline to the chaos I've unleashed. Vanessa's overdose still lingers in my mind, her pale face, the scattered pills, her whispered confession. I wasn't ready for any of it. My fingers hover over the tablet, the lockdown protocol still active, every system at Holden Dynamics frozen under my biometric key. But the alert from Sarah burns brighter. Hack traced to external IP, not internal. Watch your back. The words churn in my gut. An outside player, a rival firm like Nexus Corp, who lost the $2,300,000,000 0 cents deal to me? Or someone closer, cloaked in shadows, pulling strings to unravel my control? I don't have answers, but I know one thing. The game has escalated, and I'm not just fighting my family anymore. I'm fighting a ghost. My phone vibrates, snapping me back. It's Sarah, her voice low and urgent. "Clara, we've got a problem. The data center's power grid spiked an hour ago, nearly fried the main servers. I'm here now, but it's not random. Someone's targeting your protocol." I stand, my heels clicking on the linoleum. I'm on my way. I glance at Vanessa's room, the door half open, her silhouette still under the hospital blanket. I should stay, but I can't. Not now. The company, my company, is under siege, and I'm the only one who can stop it. The drive back to Holden Dynamics is a blur, Seattle skyline looming like a chessboard where every piece is moving against me. The black SUV from this morning haunts my thoughts, its tinted windows a blank slate for my paranoia. I park in the executive lot, my eyes scanning for anything out of place. The lot is empty, but the air feels heavy, like the city itself is holding its breath. Inside, the data center is a war zone. Sarah meets me at the entrance, her face pale under the flickering lights. "It's worse than I thought," she says, leading me to the main server rack. The air is thick with the acrid smell of burnt circuitry. A panel lies open, wires exposed, one switch deliberately severed. "This wasn't a surge," she says. "Someone cut the redundancy line. If the backup hadn't kicked in, your protocol would be gone." My heart pounds, but I keep my voice steady. "Who has access to this room?" "Only 6 people," she says. "You, me, Victor, Vanessa, and 2 senior IT guys. But the logs show no badge swipes after you left this morning." A chill runs down my spine. Someone bypassed security entirely. I kneel by the rack, my fingers tracing the cut wire. It's clean, surgical, the work of a professional. "Get me the camera footage," I say. "Every angle, every second." Sarah nods, but her eyes flick to the door. "Clara, this feels personal. Whoever did this knows your code better than they should." I don't respond. I can't. The camera in my office, the hack attempt, now this. Someone's dismantling my defenses, piece by piece. I stand, my blazer suddenly too tight, and head for the control room. The board meeting is tomorrow, and I need every shred of evidence to invoke my grandfather's charter clause. But if the servers fail, my protocol fails. And if that happens, Victor and Vanessa win. The control room is a fortress of glass and steel, monitors glowing with diagnostics. I sit at the main terminal, pulling up the lockdown logs. Sarah's right. The spike was targeted, hitting the exact node where my protocol lives. I rerun the code, checking for vulnerabilities. It's intact, but barely. Another hit like that, and it's over. My phone buzzes again, an unknown number. I hesitate, then answer. A distorted voice crackles through, low and deliberate. "Unlock the system, Clara, or the next outage won't be digital." I freeze, my breath catching. "Who is this?" Silence, then a click. The line goes dead. My hands shake as I set the phone down, but I force myself to focus. I can't let fear win, not now. I open my tablet, pulling up the charter clause, clause 14.2, buried in Edward Holden's founding documents. It's my trump card, mandating a leadership review for ethical breaches, naming me as trustee. Vanessa's unauthorized access attempts and Victor's pre-approval are clear violations. But I need the board's support, and that means surviving until tomorrow. Sarah bursts in, her laptop under her arm. "Got the footage. You're not gonna like it." She plugs in, pulling up grainy security feeds. The data center at 4:22 a.m. Emperor. Empty. Dark. Then a flicker. A figure in a black hoodie moves through the frame, face obscured, cutting the wire with precision. They're gone in seconds. No badge, no trace. "Run facial recognition," I say, my voice tight. "Already tried," Sarah says. "The angle's too low, but look at this." She zooms in on the figure's hand. A ring glints on their finger, a silver band with a distinctive crest. I've seen it before. On Victor's hand, years ago, before he stopped wearing it. My stomach twists. Is he behind this? Or is someone framing him? "Cross-check employee records," I say. "Anyone with ties to Victor, old staff, contractors, anyone." Sarah nods, her fingers flying over the keyboard. I step to the window. The Seattle skyline a blur of steel and glass. The city feels like a cage, every shadow a threat. I think of Vanessa, her confession in the hospital. She wasn't ready. Neither was I, not for this. But I've come too far to fold. The rest of the day is a grind. I audit every system, reinforce the protocol, and draft my board presentation. By 7 p.m., I'm back in my hotel suite, the city lights flickering below. I don't eat. I can't. Adrenaline is my fuel now. I open my laptop, pulling up the anonymous X account. System leaks. The posts are gaining traction. Screenshots of my protocol, Vanessa's failed access logs, Victor's signed approval. The comments are brutal. Clara Holden's a genius or a traitor. Victor's daughter faked her way to the top. This is bigger than a family fight. I scroll, my eyes burning. Then I see it. A new post, uploaded an hour ago. A photo of me, leaving the hospital, time-stamped. The caption, "She's not who you think." My blood runs cold. Someone's watching me, close enough to snap that shot. I slam the laptop shut, my breath ragged. The room feels too small, the walls too close. A knock at the door jolts me. I grab my phone, ready to dial security. But it's just the hotel concierge delivering a package. A small, unmarked envelope, no return address. My hands tremble as I open it. Inside, 2 files, one labeled Clara Holden, the other Vanessa Holden. I spread them on the desk, my heart pounding. My file is a gut punch. Pages are missing, performance reviews I aced, projects I led, all erased. My 2018 merger with Apex Tech, credited to Team Leadership VH. My 2020 audit that saved us from a lawsuit, marked as a group effort. Someone's rewritten my history, stripping my name from every victory. Then I open Vanessa's file and it's worse. Her record starts at age 13, no mention of her private tutors or the year she dropped out after a car accident. Internship letters from mentors who died before the dates listed. A company she supposedly worked for, Brightwave Solutions, doesn't exist. A fake website, a dead phone number. And at the bottom, my 2019 AI initiative, my brainchild, with my name scratched out in red ink and Vanessa's written in. I press my palms to the desk, steadying myself. This isn't just favoritism. It's a campaign, orchestrated by Victor to bury me under Vanessa's story. He didn't just choose her, he erased me, systematically, deliberately. I think of the photo wall in my apartment. Vanessa's graduation, her gala photos. Victor's arm around her. Me? One picture, with Edward, laughing at something long forgotten. The only truth left untouched. I print the files, laying them beside old emails, contracts, even a holiday card from Victor that called me the quiet one. The evidence forms a timeline, my timeline, and it's damning. I forward the files to my attorney Elena with a simple subject, for probate review. No explanation. The truth doesn't need one. Sleep doesn't come. I pace the suite, replaying every moment. Victor's smirk, Vanessa's collapse, the figure in the data center. At 3 a.m., my phone buzzes. Elena. Clara, I got the files. This is explosive. But there's something else. The will reading's been moved up. Tomorrow, 10 a.m. Victor and Vanessa aren't on the invite list. I freeze. What? Edward's orders, she says. Sealed instructions. Only you, the board, and me. My mind races. Edward's clause, his letter, his trust in me. It's all coming together, but the timing feels wrong, too sudden. File Article 27B, I say. No leaks, no press. You sure? Elena's voice is cautious. This is scorched earth. I don't need to win in public, I say. Just in truth. I hang up, my eyes falling on the city outside. The Space Needle looms, a silent sentinel. I think of Edward's words from years ago in his cedar-scented study. Power lives in silence, Clara, beneath the noise. He knew. He saw the fractures in Victor and Vanessa, in the empire he built, and he chose me to fix it. Morning comes too fast. I dress deliberately. A navy dress, closed-toe heels, Edward's gold watch on my wrist. It's heavy, grounding, a reminder of his faith. The will reading is in a wood-paneled conference room downtown, legal books lining the walls like silent witnesses. I arrive early, my portfolio in hand, my name printed on the cover. Elena greets me with a nod, her face unreadable. Vanessa is already there, sitting stiffly, clutching a designer purse. Her eyes meet mine, then drop, her knuckles white. Victor enters next, his shoes too loud on the polished floor. He doesn't acknowledge us, just takes the head seat like it's his by right. The lawyer, Mr. Kessler, clears his throat. "This will, dated 4 years ago, revokes all prior documents," he begins. His voice is steady, deliberate. To the staff of Holden Dynamics, a $1,500,000 0 cents pension bonus for those with 10 years service. To the Seattle Veterans Fund, $500,000 0 cents in honor of Edward's brother, Thomas Holden. My breath catches. Thomas, Edward's brother, died in Vietnam. I haven't heard his name since I was a kid. Kessler opens a second folder. To my granddaughter, Clara Holden, full controlling interest in Holden Dynamics assets, operational rights, executive authority effective immediately. The room freezes. Vanessa's nails dig into her purse. Victor lurches forward, silent but rigid. Kessler continues. To Vanessa Holden, a trust for educational and rehabilitative purposes in recognition of her challenges. Vanessa doesn't move. Victor blinks, his face a mask. No further beneficiaries, Kessler says, closing the folder. Victor stands, his blazer rustling. He doesn't speak, just walks out, the door slamming behind him. Vanessa whispers, barely audible. "He thought I needed saving." I look at her, my voice soft but firm. So did I. We don't hug, we don't argue. The room is quiet, the weight of truth settling like dust. I stand, the portfolio under my arm, and walk out. The courthouse steps are warm, the sky overcast but alive. My phone buzzes, an email. Subject, "Welcome, President Holden." I don't smile. I don't need to. For the first time in years, I exhale fully, the weight lifting, making room for something new. Peace, maybe, or power. But as I cross the street, a shadow moves in my peripheral vision. The black SUV, parked a block away, its engine idling. My heart skips. I keep walking, my pace steady, but my hand tightens on my phone. The game isn't over. Not yet. The board meeting is hours away, but the office is already a battlefield. I slip into my office, the camera still blinking under my monitor. I leave it there, a calculated risk. If they're watching, let them see me unafraid. I open my laptop, pulling up the System Leaks posts. The internet is ablaze, tech blogs, Reddit threads, even a CNN headline. Holden Dynamics lockdown, genius or sabotage. My name is everywhere, but so is the word assistant. Victor's narrative, still clinging like damp rot. I meet Noah and Elise in a windowless conference room, the air stale with tension. They've been auditing logs since dawn, their faces grim. "We've got something," Noah says, sliding a USB drive across the table. Vanessa's device tried accessing the compliance folder at 5:17 a.m. yesterday. 6 failed attempts. And this. He opens a file, showing Victor's digital signature on her override request, dated a year ago. Elise leans forward. "This is a violation of chain of command protocols. Combined with your clause, it's enough to trigger the charter." I nod, my jaw tight. "Make it public. No commentary, just the facts, timestamps and signatures." Noah hesitates. This'll shake the whole company, Clara. You sure? It's not about shaking, I say. It's about truth. By noon, System Leaks posts the evidence. My clause, Vanessa's failed logins, Victor's approval. The internet erupts. Employees whisper in the break room, their eyes darting when I pass. One mutters, "She wrote the protocol herself." Another glances at me, nervous. The air shifts like a fault line before an earthquake. I'm in the elevator when my phone buzzes again. Another unknown number. I answer, my voice sharp. "Who is this?" A laugh, low and cold. "You're playing a dangerous game, Clara. Unlock the system or the next move hits closer." The line cuts out. I stare at the phone, my pulse hammering. Closer. The word echoes, conjuring Vanessa's limp form, the severed wire, the camera's red dot. I step out of the elevator, my eyes scanning the hall. Victor stands near his office, talking to a legal advisor. He glances at me, his face unreadable, then turns away. No words, just a pause. But it's enough to tell me he's recalculating. That evening, I skip dinner, my stomach too knotted. I sit at my hotel desk reviewing the board agenda. Item 5, review of operational oversight. Item 7, confirmation of Clause 14.2. Item 10, emergency succession protocols. They've buried the truth in corporate jargon, but I see it. Edward's clause doesn't just protect the company. It reappoints leadership if ethics are breached. Vanessa's access attempt. Victor's negligence. They're both guilty, and I'm the one holding the gavel. But as I close my laptop, a new alert pings. Security breach, executive wing, 8:42 p.m. My office. I grab my badge and head out. The hotel's quiet halls a stark contrast to the storm in my chest. The office is dark when I arrive. The executive wing silent. My door is ajar, the camera's red dot gone. Someone's been here. I step inside, my flashlight app casting a pale glow. My desk is undisturbed, but a drawer is slightly open. I pull it out, my breath catching. The encrypted drive, I keep 37 files, every signature, every log, is missing. My knees buckle, but I catch myself. Without that drive, my evidence is digital, vulnerable. I check my tablet, praying the backup synced. It did. Relief floods me, but it's short-lived. A noise, soft, like a footstep, comes from the hall. I freeze, my flashlight sweeping the room. Nothing. But the air feels charged, like someone's just left. I lock the door, my hands shaking, and pull up the security feed on my tablet. The hall is empty, but a timestamp glints. 9:03 p.m. Motion detected. No figure, no face, just a shadow passing the camera. I'm not safe here. I grab my things and head for the stairwell, my heels echoing too loudly. As I reach the ground floor, the lights flicker, then die. The building plunges into darkness. The emergency lights slow to kick in. My phone buzzes. Another alert. Power grid failure, data center. Not again. I sprint to the data center, my badge barely working as the system glitches. Inside, the air is stifling, the servers overheating. A fire alarm blares, red lights strobing. I cough, smoke stinging my eyes. A spark jumps from a rack, flames licking the cables. I grab a fire extinguisher, spraying foam, my arms burning with effort. The fire dies, but the damage is done. Half the servers are fried, my protocol hanging by a thread. I stumble out, gasping, my dress stained with soot. Sarah's there, her face ashen. "Clara, this was arson." I found an accelerant canister by the back exit. I nod, my throat raw. "They're trying to erase me." She grabs my arm. You need to get out, now. But I can't. The board meeting is hours away, and I'm the only one who can finish this. I head to the control room, my hands steady despite the chaos. I rebuild the protocol, rerouting it to a secondary server. It's a temporary fix, but it holds. By dawn, I'm back in my hotel, showered, changed, Edward's watch heavy on my wrist. The boardroom is a battlefield, the mahogany table a war zone. Victor sits at the head, his fingers steepled, his face a mask of control. Vanessa's chair is empty. She's still in the hospital. I walk in, my portfolio under my arm, and take the head seat. Victor's eyes narrow, but he says nothing. 3 board members, Wesley, Patel, and Chen, stand, their faces grim but resolute. We've reviewed Clause 14.2, Wesley says. We support the motion to reappoint leadership. I nod, opening my portfolio. Before we begin, I'd like to enter 3 items into the minutes: the lockdown protocol, the access logs, and Victor's silence. A younger board member, Daniels, clears his throat. This isn't personal, is it, Clara? I meet his gaze, steady. No, it's protection, and it works. Leans forward, his voice low. You've damaged our reputation beyond repair. I set my pen down. I didn't damage it. I exposed what you hid. The room stays quiet, but the air shifts. Eyes dart, but no one challenges me. I present the evidence. Logs, signatures, Vanessa's breaches. The board listens, their faces unreadable. When I finish, I invoke the charter clause, transferring asset control. Victor doesn't fight, he just watches, his silence louder than any outburst. As we adjourn, I gather my notes and walk out, the weight of the room lifting, but in the hall, a courier waits, a leather pouch in his hands. Miss Holden, he says, handing it to me. The seal is Edward's, a falcon over oak branches. Inside, a notarized document and a letter. The document names me heir to controlling equity, effective immediately. The letter, in Edward's slanted script, reads, Clara, if you're reading this, the noise has stopped. You were never second. Let truth guide you, even if your heart falters. I don't cry. I close my eyes, letting his words settle. He knew. He planned for this. I slip the letter into my pocket, my resolve hardening. The fight isn't over. The SUV, the arson, the threats, they're still out there. But I'm not the assistant anymore. I'm Clara Holden, and this empire is mine.